question, if he and his people have done nothing wrong, why even talk about pardons?
You see, this is one of those things about Washington, and it's the convolution and the nature of things. I'm in the Oval Office with the president last week. We're talking about that. He says he brought that up. He says, but he doesn't have to be pardoned. There's nobody around him that has to be pardoned. He was just making the statement about the power of pardon. And so now all of the speculation and all the spin is, oh, he's going to pardon himself and do all this other nonsense. The president does not need to pardon himself. And the reason he doesn't need to pardon himself is that he hasn't done anything wrong.
Why is he tweeting about pardons?
Well, I think that unfortunately he may have had a conversation in the Oval Office or somewhere about it, and then people rush out to leak that information to people. It's just very unprofessional and very harmful. And I think that the gist of that leak, basically, or that tweet, I should say, is that he's not going to pardon anybody. He doesn't need to pardon anybody.
We have not and continue to not have conversations with the President of the United States regarding pardons. Pardons have not been discussed, and pardons are not on the table. With regard to the issue of a president pardoning himself, there's a big academic discussion going on right now, an academic debate.
If he fired Mueller or pardoned himself or someone close to him under investigation, it would be one of the greatest breaking of rule of law, of traditional democratic norms, of what our democracy is about.
In your opinion, does the president have the authority to pardon himself?
I think in all likelihood he does. I think that some of this hasn't been adjudicated. I think what the courts typically find is when something happens politically between separation of powers or between a power of one particular body, a lot of times they kind of say it's up to the electors to decide this. And so a lot of things get kicked back into a political sphere. I think in a political sphere, I would caution someone to think about pardoning themselves or family members or et cetera.